everybody, and welcome back to this tutorial. And right now we're going to finish up with our strings, and we're going to take a look at the last functions that we are going to use with our strings, which is starts with, ends with, join, split, and strip function. Now basically those are some of the important functions that allow us to manipulate strings on a whole another level. Basically to check whether a string starts with a certain word or not, or basically if it ends as well. So that is the ends with function what we will do. And the join function will actually join two strings, as we will see later on. The split function, of course, splits strings, and strip function will strip out the string from a specified character or a new line character or tab character or whatever is specified in between the brackets. Now, right now, we're going to take a look at, first of all, with the starts with and ends with function. So open up your idle if you already didn't. And right here, let's say we have a string one that is going to be equal to my name is John. So my name is John. This is our string one. And right now, for some reason, you want to check out whether this string actually starts with a word mine. You can do that on two different ways. So you can use string one dot starts with, and then in the brackets, you can specify the actual word that you're searching for. So for example, my. And this will return a boolean value that will either be a true or a false value. Now, of course, you can also have a string 2 to be equal to 2, or pardon me, to be equal to my, and then you can do something like this. String 1 starts with, and then string 2 in between the brackets, which is exactly the same thing as right here, just by using only variables, and you can see right here, it also returns true value. Okay, now you can also use ends with, to check whether this ends with a John name. So you can just type right here, string 1 ends with, and in between the brackets you can specify John. Now this will return a false value, and if you take a closer look you will notice why. That is because we actually have a dot at the end of our string. Therefore John is not really the last string that is in our sentence right here. Okay, so in order to check whether if we add a dot, it will be true, you can just type here string 1 ends with, and then in between brackets specify John with a dot. And right now you can see that we actually have a true value. Okay, so this can be useful in some programs, such as, for example, let's say we have a string 3 to be equal to, let's say, my, or let's type it right here. Like this. So name equals input, and then we will specify right here, enter your name to the user, and let's say they type here Adam, and right here we will just perform a simple check. So if name starts with, now we can use starts with or ends with, doesn't even matter since this is a one word string, starts with name, or pardon me, not with name, we want to specify right here, starts with Adam, we can just print right here, hello administrator, and then plus Adam. Or we can use plus name simply. You can use plus name just to concat the actual string. And else, in any other case, if it doesn't start with the actual Adam, we'll just print hello member. And then once again, we'll concat the name. As you can see, it will print out hello administrator Adam because this name variable actually starts with Adam. So that is some kind of a basic example that you can perform with these two functions right here. Now, of course, there are more useful ways to do them, but this is just what came up in my head right at the moment. So let us continue with the next actual function that we're going to cover in this lecture, which is the method join. So what the join method, as I said before, will do is it will take a list of arrays or strings and make them one big array. So for example, if you just specify right here list1 equals, and then right here you can specify different names. We will use our regular name, so John, and then Jack, oops, and then Jane, and Adam at the end. So Adam, this is our list1, and in order to actually join all of these strings right here without actually having anything in between these names, you can just type here open and close single quotes, and then dot join, and then open and close brackets, list1. Whoops, not list. We need list1 and not list. So open and close single quotes, dot join, and here in the in brackets, list1. And you can see John, Jack, Jane, Adam. As you can see right here, if you wanted to add some space, you can just simply just open single quotes, spacebar, single quote, dot join, and once again list1, and this will print everything in a line with the space itself. Now if you want to add comma, for example, you can simply do by specifying it in between the single quotes, and then dot join, and once again list1. And also, if you want to, you don't really need to use, really need to create a list in order to be able to perform this. You can simply just do open quote, comma, close quote, and then right here, dot join, open and close normal brackets, open and close square brackets, and here you can specify the actual names instead of actually specifying the list itself. So that is another way that you can do this. And you can see it will print out the same thing. You don't really need a variable that will contain a list. So the actual thing that is between these quotes right here is what will be placed in between each element of this list. As we can see right here, we didn't have anything, therefore we got a string that is concatenated names. We here specified an empty space, therefore between each element of this list we actually got an empty space right here. Same with the comma, and right here in a different example we also got the same thing. So the reverse function of join would be a split function. Okay, so basically what split function will do is it will make each word in a string an element. As we saw right here, each element was made a string, a word in a string, and right here we'll use a string. Okay, so string to split. So string to split, just didn't want to call it just string, so just make up any name you want, doesn't even matter. String to split will be equal, basically, let's say, the Lord of the Rings. So Lord of the Rings, this is our string. And then we want to create a list which will contain each word of this string. You can do that by simply specifying string to split equals, or not string to split equals, string to split dot split, open and close brackets without specifying anything in between the brackets. And right here list2 can be equal to this. And then if you just print list2, you can see that the list2 will contain each word as an element in its list. Okay. If you want to split by a certain character or certain specific special character, you can do that. So let's say we have, for example, hello, comma, how, comma, are, comma, you, comma, today. So this is our string, and you want to actually split it by comma and add it to your list. You can just type here split, and then in between the brackets, in between the single quotes, specify the actual comma, and you can see right here we will have a list that will be splitted out by the comma. So that is also something useful you should know. You can also specify, or you can also of course split the string by specifying the letter in the bracket. So you can split by, for example, letter E. Let me just check out right here. Or let's use letter A. So this same string, or let's copy everything. So this same string we want to split by letter A, even though that doesn't really make any sense, but you can do it if you want to. As you can see, what you will receive is hello, how, are you, Todd, and then you're missing A. So you're going to split Todd today into two different elements. One of them will be Y and the other one will be Todd. Okay, so that is also something you can do. Basically, now also I should mention that split is actually mostly used to split by a new line character. So if you have a multi-line string, such as for example something like this, multi_line_string is equal, we will use 3 open and 3 close single quotes. So we already covered that in the previous videos. You should know what this is. Now let's type here hello, comma, do you have any plans for today? Question mark, enter, which is a new line character. I would like to see you. Dot, and then 3 single quotes defining and closing the multi-line string. If we print it out, multi-line string, you can see right here everything is good enough. And in order to split it by a new line character, which is \n, you can just type here multi-line string dot split, and in between the brackets specify \, and then n. And you can see right here, the list that it will return is basically a list that will consist of every line in the actual string itself. So hello is one element, do you have any plans for today is the second element, and I would like to see you is the third and last element. Okay, so that will be basically about it for the split function. Now at the end, let's take a look also at the strip function. It is also mostly used to get rid of empty spaces and new line characters. As you can see right here, if we have a name to be equal to open single quote, and then just basically tab this in and then just press and then just write John, close single quote. You can see that the John actually has the \t once you actually type it right here. And in order to split it from that, or to strip it from that \t, you can simply use name.strip. You don't really need to specify anything in between the brackets, such as for example \t. Now you can do that if you want to, but what strip will do by default is it will get rid of every empty spaces in the string itself, as well as the new line characters. As you can see right here, if you have for example string 1 equals to open and close single quotes John \n, if you print string 1, it will also have a new line character. As you can see, we have an empty space right here. That is this new line character that we coded right here. And you want to basically strip it from that new line character. You can simply use string1.strip, or you can use string1.strip from the actual \n, which will retrieve the same value as just simply using the strip function. So that would be basically about it for this tutorial. We took a look at the multiple functions such as starts with, ends with, join, split, and strip. Now those are all the functions that you will actually use in the strings themselves. Now trust me, this is not anything that you will not encounter if you continue coding in Python. So this is an important lecture, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope I will see you in the next one. Bye!